When is a computer game not a computer game? And how did this game that's not a game from 1985 have a connection with one of the biggest titles of today? Let's find out. For this story, we need to go way back to 1985, and a young 10-year-old me took a trip with my dad to our local MacLeod cash and carry. My parents would go there on a fairly regular basis, and on this occasion I went there with my dad, and it's whilst there that I would browse the collection of C64 titles available, normally whilst my dad looked at some heavy duty drill bit or some other DIY stuff. Anyway, I remember one game stood out from the rest just by what was written on the box alone. And that game that's not a game is this: Little Computer People. As you can see from this cassette version, it comes in a clamshell type case instead of the transparent cases typical of the day. But what immediately caught my eye was this warning on the front, written in red: from Activision Little Computer People Research Group. These are real computer people. Once you have discovered them, you must give them food, water, and lots of attention. Includes free wall chart. At no point on the box does the word game even appear. Instead, the word Discovery Kit is stamped on the front. Now, as a 10-year-old, I was intrigued. I knew it couldn't be true, but deep inside I was intrigued enough for it to come home with me. So, what is this thing? Well, it was produced and released by Activision. It was designed by two guys by the name of Rich Gold and David Crane. The very same David Crane who brought us Pitfall, Ghostbusters, and other great titles. To be honest, the game, program, was more suited towards disc. The cassette version was a little cut down due to, obviously, the cassette format limitations. In fact, Little Computer People was often called House on a Disc, but as a 10-year-old in the UK, it wouldn't be until next Christmas that I would get my first disc drive. And to be honest, at that time, I was none the wiser. Basically, the cassette version would generate a new Little Computer Person, or LCP, each time you loaded the game, program, and could not save your progress. However, the disc version was a much more complete entity. The very first time you load your LCP on disc, it will ask you for your name, time, and date, unlike the cassette version, which will just chuck you straight into the main screen with a newer LCP being generated each time you loaded and letting you get straight on with the game. Program. Just to let you know, it seems that Little Computer People are not Y2K compliant, so unfortunately these little LCPs are walking around their home thinking it's 1919. Poor things. As you can see, his home is seen from a front 2D view, and his house is split into different areas such as a living room, kitchen, study, and a bedroom. He even has his own cool hi-fi system in the middle of his living room, one that I'm sure Techmoan would be proud of. When your LCP first moves into his home, you can't really do anything for the first few minutes while he takes a grand tour of his home. All you can do is observe in eager anticipation. I remember my LCP had a private room right at the top of the stairs, and it was never really revealed what was in there or what it was for. I still don't know to this day, although people have deliberated that it could be a female friend or maybe his own stash of private liquor. Interaction with your LCP is via the keyboard, and there are two ways you can interact. There are basically some simple presets. For example, pressing Ctrl and F will deliver food to the door, or Ctrl and B will deliver a book. Control and D will deliver dog food, and yes, I forgot to say that your LCP has his own best friend that also needs attention. Finally, Control and P will pat your LCP on the back of the head. This is something that he particularly loves. You can also interact by typing a message such as "please play the piano" or even "please write a letter." On the full disc version, his letter contents are surprisingly specific depending on how you have actually interacted with your LCP. This program is pretty immersive for the day and quite different to the wealth of platform shooters and classics that swamped the 8-bit platform at the time. Remember, Little Computer People had no score, no plot, no storyline. It was more of a research experiment, and to be honest, after a while I did a little experimenting myself. Specifically on one occasion I remember wondering what would really happen if I just left my LCP home alone. So that's exactly what I did. I basically loaded up the program and went upstairs to play my toys, probably my Transformers or something. After a few hours I decided to go and check up on my LCP, and to my horror my LCP had turned an unnerving colour of green and looked extremely unhappy. It was at this point that my younger brother Simon just happened to walk in and saw the results of my cruel social experiment. He immediately ran to my mum in terror, screaming, "He's letting him die, he's letting him die, why is he letting him die, mum?" I guess it was all a little too much to handle for my little brother, and it still makes me chuckle today. The program itself proved to be fairly popular, gaining positive reviews at the time from Zap64, and won a Best Original Game Award in 1985 at the Golden Joystick Awards, beating Spy vs Spy and Paradroid. Moving forward to the present day, Will Wright, creator of The Sims, says he used to play Little Computer People back in the day, so you can't help see the connection and the influence. For me, Little Computer People has a special place. I spent hours interacting with my LCP when I should have been having interactions with my real friends, but things never change. This isn't my original copy, nor does it have its wall chart. That thing probably finished up on some kid's wall just like mine did back in the day. I purchased this one on the mighty eBay for just a few pounds. Discs versions can get pricey depending on the quality of the box and the contents. It will happily run on the Vice emulator, and it really is worth taking a look at this old retro title. And as always, Google is your friend if you want to look for all that type of stuff. So that's about it for the Retro Bite today. Did you play the game that's not a game? And if so, do you remember the name of your LCP? And what computer you played it on? Let me know in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching. This is Andrew from the Retro Bite, signing off. I really hope you enjoyed this episode of the Retro Bite. If you did, please remember to click like, and if you want to see future episodes, remember to subscribe and hit the notifications button. And if you'd like to support the channel, then please take a look at my Patreon page at www.patreon.com/TheRetroBite to become an official supporter. You can also find the Retro Bite on social media, so why not drop by and take a look. As always, thank you for watching.